All hail Robotnik, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined as always by my co-hosts, Lauren and Bruce, and today we are making our way through Sonic the Comic, Fleetway Sonic, and we've got some pretty crazy stuff going on tonight.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate descriptor.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I am so excited to talk about some of the things, not all of them. We're not starting off with the most exciting thing. We're starting off with a Stringer and McMahon story. This is Taking the Plunge. Robotnik's Agent X makes a deal with the ocean life of Trituna to try and attack Sonic above the surface.
This is our first zone that isn't called blank zone, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it says it's a zone, so...
yeah, but it's apparently just called Trituna.
Well, it says undersea zone of Trituna. They just said it backwards. I'm
guess,
sure Trituna zone would be correct.
I guess so, yeah.
I'm gonna give it at least a 7 because it sounds like it could fit perfectly with Meta Junglera.
True.
Why the hell did they name that? Anyway, yes, we have the return of Agent X from last time, and as before, he's just doing odd job villainy.
Basically.
Yeah, just a generic goon as far as we can tell, really.
Right now, definitely.
Yeah, he really is not displaying the most, unique villain traits. So you could have basically anybody that we've met before do this.
Yeah.
He is underwater in his... whatever this ship is a little weird looking. He's here to make a deal with the fish people, the shark people, because Robotnik wants them to breathe air and conquer the surface, specifically so that they'll get rid of Sonic in the process. I assume that he'll then conquer them back when he...
Assumingly.
Most likely. Although, yeah, the Shark Zone leader agrees to this plan really quickly because they're just like, wait, I can't breathe on land. And then they're like, nah, take this. Now you can breathe on land. And they're like, heck yeah, let's go.
Let's go. It's like they already wanted to.
If that's all it takes, how does Robotnik not already rebuilt a whole following?
Well, frankly, if I were...
not enough assholes, I guess?
If I were Sharka Khan here, that's his name, I would be like, oh, you've got a solution to let me breathe on land? I'll take that, and I'll fight Sonic. Now leave. And then I would just not do it.
Yeah, that would be smart.
I mean, what? If they need to empower you to beat Sonic the Hedgehog, just tell Sonic. It's fine.
Yeah.
But, no, that's not what ends up happening. Sharka Khan is apparently evil enough that he's fine with that. I guess he doesn't know what Robotnik dumps in the ocean. Or maybe what Robotnik dumps in the ocean is the reason these fish have sentience to begin with.
That's true. This is the first time I think we've seen fish people.
It's
possible. Can't remember any others.
We haven't done a lot of underwater stories in general.
Not
so
really. I mean, yeah, so it's we haven't really had the chance to see them, but still found that kind of interesting.
So, we are indeed going to attack Sonic at Beanson Coast Zone? What the hell is that? 1 out of 10.
Yeah, another weird name.
That's an odd one, yeah.
But, Sonic is under attack by Jaws Michael, Crabsy Nesbit, Stara, and Elton John. Those are some tortured-ass pop culture references.
I get Elton John, but I'm struggling with the rest of them.
Probably other celebrities that I'm not thinking of, don't worry about it. I'm sure the comments section has been great recently about pointing out pop culture references we've missed in this comic. So
I need to be better about reading the comments.
It's fine. But good on you guys. We love our fans.
Yeah.
You guys remember the 40 Fathoms Freedom Fighters? This is basically an evil version of that.
I was just thinking about that.
I didn't even think about them.
Because why would
kind of a bunch of generic, aquatic life people, and not much to them otherwise.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really have anything special to say about them. The most I can say is that the shark and Jimmy Whale here are unique in that they have actual arms and legs, which the other aquatic life in these comics usually doesn't.
Yeah, it's kind of odd.
It is.
Even in Archie, I can't say that I've seen something like that until the reboot.
Well, yeah, the 40 Fathoms Freedom Fighters are literally just regular animals.
Yeah, so I guess these are not quite the same then.
And I guess in Modern Sonic you have Mimic, but
yeah, true.
Except he's never in water. He's an octopus, but he's always on dry land. Anyway, yeah, I don't have anything to say about this battle. It's McMahon's art, so it's never really about intense rendering.
Right.
Sonic must be stuck in Sonic 1 temporarily because he has to run backwards to then curl up in a ball and attack.
Oh, he has to build up speed, yeah.
Yep.
Also, Jaws Michael, the one with the hat, he loses the hat and also turns pink in between part 1 and 2 for some reason.
He does, yeah. Also, why did this have to be 2 parts?
Oh, it was such an epic fight. I mean, the cliffhanger of Jimmy Whale.
My brain didn't think about, like, why the hell is this 2 parts until just now?
Well, it's because we needed slightly more time, because... Okay, well, we didn't need... You know what I mean.
The writers wanted slightly more time.
We take slightly more time, because Sonic chases them all back underwater, and they're like, at least we know Sonic the Hedgehog can't swim. But Sonic can! He took lessons, motherfucker!
I can't believe...
Sonic just goes in, he's like, I'm going in for round 2.
It is kind of funny, but also ridiculous. Like,
it is, yeah.
If water comes up as a problem again, I'm gonna be like, wait, but Sonic learned how to swim.
That's right.
Like, they eliminated the weakness, sort of. I mean, he has to have a diving suit now, but, like, that should help him in the future.
You'd think so. I guess we'll see.
This is hilarious, because Sonic not being able to swim is obviously a pretty omnipresent thing about his character. Yeah. Different series have focused on it more or less. You know, Sonic Boom has that joke about him taking swimming lessons and being bullied by children.
That's a good joke.
But this is the first time that he's outright overcome that problem. It's like...
Yeah, and that's an interesting choice.
It's character development. It's amazing.
It is. It is.
You know, between that and, like, Sonic... You know, in these comics, he's also mostly shifted from being a dickhead frequently to mostly just being an ornery version of regular Sonic.
Yeah,
so,
he's become more just kind of snarky.
Yeah, he's just grumpy regular Sonic, and he's
like,
Sonic,
I can appreciate that.
Sonic the comic Sonic has come a long way.
He has. He definitely has had probably the most development we've seen.
Well, the most change, certainly.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe
development, I don't know, because like in terms of his personality, like I wouldn't say that he's gotten more complex, but
no,
yeah,
but
radically different.
Anyway, good job learning to swim.
Yeah, congratulations, Sonic.
He mentions that this suit was actually made by Techno, specifically so that he could do spin dashes underwater.
Sure, okay.
Which is funny because throughout this whole thing, we don't see him do that.
I was about to say, I don't think he actually does one.
Instead, he just smashes through a wall, stealing Knuckles' line.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he says knock knock.
He says knock knock. I was searching for the panel because I was wondering if he said it's crunch time.
No, that's not this comic.
Yeah, but you never know. We had that chili dog thing a while back that surprised us.
That was true. Weird.
But, yes, Sharka Khan decides to just be a coward and flee. He doesn't even want to fight alongside his compatriots, which ends up being a mistake because Sonic is too fast, and he gets to him and he shows off like, hey, you guys, he's going to run away, and the others are pissed off, and so they... Well, it's weird because they show him being like, uh-oh, I didn't mean to run into these guys, and then we cut to later and they say, yeah, we decided to sack him and we'll try tuna ourselves. What do they do? Do they eat him?
I mean, they are fish. Like, fish creatures, so sure.
They probably threw him in fish prison.
Yeah, no, I doubt they actually ate him, but...
Yeah.
I like that Sonic is like, alright, cool. Like, yeah, it was totally this one dude that caused all the problems. Like, everyone else, they're fine. I'm sure no more issues will happen.
You know, it's not like all the rest of them decided to go along with it.
Yeah, like...
I guess we don't know how many of them actually did, but...
Well, Sonic's line is, they all seem a bit wet behind the ears to me, which suggests that he does not have confidence in this.
True.
No, but, I mean, I guess he's like, I have better things to do than deal with these goofs.
Honestly, it seems like Sonic just doesn't care that much.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't think we do either.
You know, who would care when the story in front of this is Robotnik Reigns Supreme, pitching into Elson. Robotnik isn't as dead as the heroes thought. So,
that's the summary. I like it.
That is a good summary.
As we saw last time, Grimer and the Dracon invaded Angel Island, but it turned out it was all a ruse. Grimer betrayed them specifically so that he could let Robotnik show up to take the power of the Emeralds, who obviously overloaded on Chaos Energy and turned to Crystal. Then what happened is my question, and the answer is that they just keep Crystal Eggman here on Angel Island. Grimer's gone. Where is he?
Yeah, where is
I have
Grimer?
that question. I was going to bring it up later when it was clear that he wasn't here, but yes, he's not here.
Yeah, because I got the distinct impression this is literally right after he turned to Crystal.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any break.
Yeah. So I was a little confused at where Grimer went.
If I recall correctly, I was super pissed off about this because my impression at the time was that Grimer was just running free, like they let him leave. I'm pretty sure, and I might be wrong about this because I might be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure the next time we see Grimer, he is actually in prison.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Okay, that makes sense.
I didn't think that. I thought the writers forgot about him, and later they would establish
I thought the
that he
same
slipped
thing.
away.
I was very annoyed with
that
this.
would have made sense. I would have expected that, but if
and
that's
they should
actually
just
the case,
say that he's in prison, because then that makes it basically fine. Like, okay, don't keep Robotnik in the Emerald Chamber. That's stupid.
No, but yeah. Okay.
It's not as
fair
stupid
enough.
as it could be.
Right.
Okay, then.
So, yeah, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are all looking at the big crystal Robotnik, and, well, what do you do with that? And Sonic,
That is a solid question.
Sonic kind of makes a joke about it, and Knuckles is like, oh, well, so you're making this my problem just because he's here?
Good point, honestly.
But, unfortunately, it's going to be everyone's problem, because the damn thing comes alive and grabs Tails.
And lets out this absolutely raw line. Your little friend can't seem to get his words out, Sonic. I think there's something wrong with his neck.
That is a really good line.
Yeah. So before, Robotnik taking the Emerald's power in that other story apparently did work the way it was supposed to. It's just that it took him a long time to adjust because he overdosed on the energy, but it still disseminated into him, I guess.
Right.
It is very unclear that there was any break in time. I actually was looking at this and was like, why did they bother ending the previous story if they were going to bring him back three killer stories later? It's an odd decision, because if they had even just hinted that Robotnik was still active, it would have made the end of the last story better.
You could probably edit together a version of the last story and this one where it leads directly into this. I guess Grimer would then disappear for no reason, but
yeah,
it basically might as well have not had a break at all. But you know what? That's fine. Better for something to feel too seamless than not seamless enough, I guess. I don't know. That doesn't really make any sense now that I'm thinking about it. Whatever. Robotnik. He grows huge, and they can't hit him. They bounce off of him, and he's like, "I don't need anybody else. Who cares about Grimer or whatever?"
He does say, "I don't need Grimer anymore. I don't need Badniks or Troopers or the Dracon Empire. I am the Force now." He's gone a little nuts.
Indeed,
understandably.
In fact, this is a good part of Robotnik's character development for the rest of the comic.
Oh. I would like this to have lasting ramifications, because if you get a taste of power like this, that could really screw him up.
Yeah.
So, Knuckles, seeing where this is going, says, "Hey, Sonic, here's a cool thing we got. A button on the panel next to you will turn off the Master Emerald, or the Master Emerald will turn off the Chaos Energy."
Right. Yes, like it's supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah, friggin' SA2 moment, which is weird because SA2 was not even in development at the time. So that would be great, you know? Total anticlimax though. No, it doesn't work.
Of course not.
It does.
Okay, but why?
That's a good question.
So my guess would be that the crystal Robotnik that we see getting shattered here.
Was that just like an effigy? Not effigy.
It's like a shell. Like he left He left the crystal body when he went away, because he does survive this. Of course, I don't think anybody should be surprised about that.
Sure, yeah.
But, yeah, they're like, oh, something's shaking and something's laughing outside. What's going on? And Robotnik is now enormous and holding the entire island in his hands.
Okay. Yeah. When he was Crystal and he was like shooting lasers, even when he made himself a little bigger, it wasn't over the top. But seeing this, I'm just like, oh, we're in for another Enerjack.
Kinda,
Yeah, a little
yeah.
bit. This is, my mind wants to say it's the Supreme High Robotnik from Adventures of Sonic, but
That was not nearly as ridiculous as this.
I mean, different tones, but yeah, I don't know. It is certainly they're going as hard as they possibly can on making this like, oh, it's the ultimate super highest possible stakes.
Right.
But it's to a ludicrous degree. I hate the idea that absorbing chaos power, not just going super, somehow makes you godlike. I'm jumping ahead here, but we will see that Robotnik can basically do anything now.
Yeah, he basically becomes omniscient.
Which is ridiculous. Like, how does that track? The Chaos Emeralds are powerful, but they're not like universe warping.
Yeah.
It does. That is a good point.
You need limits on things, is what it is.
Yeah.
Because once you can do anything, it almost spoils how you're going to beat the villain. Because there's only one way to beat a person who can do anything.
Yeah, he's going to be an idiot, obviously.
Right.
Yeah. Which is not even necessarily wrong for Eggman, because Eggman is foolish, no matter how intelligent he is.
Right.
But,
I'm jumping ahead, but I don't like this setup.
Well, let's at least look at the meat of it and see if there's still some good stuff in here. Robotnik blasts Sonic with eye lasers, and suddenly we're somewhere else.
It's interdimensional eye lasers or something.
Yeah, they're time eyes. And, yeah, we're in a dingy place, there's ugly green gas everywhere, and oh hey, troopers.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I like that Sonic smashes one. It's like, wow, I really missed fighting these guys.
Oh, yes. We should have put Robotnik back in power long ago. But, yeah, he beats him up, and hey, he saves Amy and Johnny. But neither of them knows who Sonic is. Okay. And Amy's like, oh, this is Emerald Hill. Oh, we're in alternate timelines again.
Yeah.
There's a little subtle detail here that I like, where Sonic is like, what? No, I know you guys. No, this isn't right. And Johnny's just like, wow, this guy's insane. But Amy's like, let's hear him out, which makes me think that somehow Amy, just at seeing Sonic, because, like, wasn't it? It seems like she fell for Sonic really quickly, so this kind of track.
Yeah.
She's wanting to do something Sonic says because she's still attracted to Sonic despite not knowing who he is.
Exactly.
Fair enough, I guess.
Of course, you could make the more romantic argument, which is, her memories persist even across time and space. Like that weird-ass moment in Colors DS where Blaze and Silver somehow know each other. But they are interrupted by a Badnik Death Squad, led by Lewis? Oh, they're calling him Oscar. He's a dick now.
Okay, I do appreciate that when you completely retcon something, if you at least stick with it, I'll appreciate it more.
I can definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, this feels like, well, to be honest, this feels like they wrote the Oscar backstory so they could put it in here rather than the other way around.
It does feel a little like that.
Yeah.
Either way, it makes it more believable
that
he would just completely turn against everyone and join Robotnik.
It also makes it so that weird-ass Special Zone story doesn't feel like a complete non-sequitur, which it would have otherwise.
Right.
True.
Sonic remains pretty unbothered by all of this. He keeps his cool pretty well fighting these robots.
This will be consistent throughout the entire story, actually.
Yeah.
He is just unfazed by everything that we're going to see, which is, I guess that's consistent. I wouldn't have guessed it necessarily, though.
Yeah, Sonic the Comic Sonic generally keeps his head pretty well. I can think of one big moment where he doesn't, but I'm comparing to like Archie Sonic, who would have nightmares over having destroyed that statue in Sandblast City, or who gets put through the emotional ringer by Robotnik in space that one time.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have the extremes of Archie, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But Robotnik appears after all this to show Sonic what he did, which is that, yeah, he created a world where Sonic never existed, which meant that... Okay, well, would Kentober still have messed himself up in that timeline? I feel like that would interfere if Sonic didn't exist, but...
feel like...
Wait, but that was also the result of time travel, now that I'm thinking about it, so...
That's true.
So, first of all, I'm disappointed that Robotnik showed up. Maybe he won't interfere. Actually, that he will definitely interfere. Like this was an interesting setup, and then Robotnik shows up here and it's like, okay, never mind. We can't let this play out for any extended period of time. Second of all, we're going to see further evidence, but just the fact that Lewis is afraid but not like surprised to see Robotnik like this implies that like this version of Robotnik has been here all this time. The whole original backstory is out the window.
Yeah, and I guess it's like, I guess you can do that, but that means how long has it been from Robotnik's perspective? You know, does he retain the memories of his retconned self? I don't know. Time travel is bullshit. I need to remember that.
Real.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is the timeline where you never existed, Robotnik says, and Sonic, like, falls on the floor, which is almost a breakdown, and Robotnik, like, laughs.
Because he says that Tails is dead specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Tails' first appearance in this comic is that he was drowning in a swamp, so Sonic was not there to save him.
Yeah, so Tails is just straight up dead.
Yeah. So, you know what, fair enough. I can believe that Sonic would fall to his knees hearing that.
Yeah, definitely.
So Robotnik laughs, and oh no, you know, how is Sonic ever going to recover from this? And then we have something really weird here, which is that we have a story set in the middle of this arc, because...
This is weird.
We have Kitching and Elson's Robotnik Reigns Supreme, and then we have that story will continue, but it is interrupted here by Show of Strength, which is a Stringer and Dobbin story. And Corona.
This story is really out of place, because, like, it doesn't really make any sense how it could be happening.
Yeah, it's like, we had Robotnik laughing, and now Sonic's just hanging around this timeline?
Yeah, I don't...
I think the idea, or at least my inference, is that Robotnik like was laughing at Sonic, who collapsed, and then Robotnik was like, well, that's enough fun for now, and then he just left. And then Sonic got up and was like, okay, what now?
I mean, that makes as much sense as, you know, the non-amount of information the story actually gives us.
Yeah, the gist of this story is that Sonic pledges to revert to the horrific worlds Robotnik has created. That was the summary, and, you know, it really is not much. You know, some guys are hanging out, some troopers harass them, Sonic saves them.
Mm-hmm.
We get absolute confirmation here that, well, I guess at least God Robotnik is in charge now, because they're like, wow, at least it's not raining, and then it starts raining, and they're like, oh, of course, Robotnik hears everything. Although that begs the question, if God Robotnik is in charge, why did he, like, just reset up things the way they were? Could he not think of anything more creative?
Yeah, I mean, why are these people even still not robot slaves? Because that's what he wants for everybody, isn't it?
Well, I thought his ideal future was people enjoying being, like, abused.
I guess if he has godlike power, why can't he just change their minds?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, I don't know. Sonic the Comic Robotnik is strange compared to other versions of Eggman across the series.
It's kind of hard to wrap your head around him.
Yeah, it's like this is usually Robotnik versions of Robotnik / Eggman like being praised, but I guess that's not quite so. It's not. Sonic the Comic definitely does like that, but it's not like his primary objective. It's very odd.
Yeah. So yeah, Robotnik, he sees Sonic saving people, so he gets mad and he causes an earthquake and rips up the ground, or a Mobius quake, I guess. And he, you know, just to display his power, he is literally shown holding the world in the palm of his hand.
We're getting a little ridiculous.
It's a bit silly.
Yeah, it is quite absurd. Although it does lead to a very funny moment. Because Robotnik is like, I could destroy the world. And Sonic's like, do what you want. And Robotnik's like, yeah, you're right, that'd be boring.
That is pretty
fair enough
for both of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, fair enough. It's about ruling, not destroying.
Right.
So yeah, and then he just comes back to normal size, and he's like, yeah. And then he laughs and like disappears through like Windows Movie Maker editing. And then Sonic's
I do
like,
think
what?
this story adds something because I like to think that Robotnik intentionally left Sonic here to be like, oh, he'll be miserable, and then Sonic was like unfazed, and then
Oh,
Robotnik's
it's like, all right, well, it's just time to
great.
go start helping people.
And so this leads nicely into Robotnik starting to really ramp up harassing Sonic next.
Yeah.
It lets him know that he can't just create his entire ideal world. That he has to also aggress Sonic in the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is shown here in the other part of Robotnik Reigns Supreme. Still Kitchen Nelson, because it's the same story. Robotnik is going to display more of his godlike power and fight Sonic and stuff.
Yep.
So he responds to Sonic's pledge for victory, because this really is picking up right where we left off. He responds to his pledge by fast-forwarding time 65 years into the future. You remember, old Sonic? We got old Sonic.
Vaguely.
Except this is real Sonic, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, Sonic is old and useless, and at this point, everyone does actually seem to, well, I mean, they could be being forced into it, but either way, they're holding like a celebration in Robotnik's honor.
Yeah,
well, Sonic does comment. Yeah, Sonic does comment that celebrations, they don't look very happy to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is confirmation.
I want to note that when Robotnik first changes time, you see a flyer that says it's celebrating 70 years, which means that I guess we're confirming it's been 5 years since the start of the comic.
Oh,
Which,
nice.
I guess that makes sense.
But yeah, Sonic is old and can't fight. Can't do anything to stop it. Just Robotnik's like, oh, look how powerless you are. And Sonic's like, yeah, I don't care that much. Because it's like he tries this and then he changes it back. Because this is all just for show to try and break Sonic's spirit, but it's just it's not working.
It is funny though. Robotnik has a good way of turning things around because Sonic's like, "What? You just gave me back my youth?" And Robotnik's like, "Well, yeah, I couldn't miss out on all those years, now could I?"
Yeah.
I will admit that as stupid of an escalation as this is, Robotnik is still pretty entertaining.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the ultimate goal of this story, you know, if you interpret it as, you know, oh, what would Robotnik do given godlike power, then yeah, it's kind of dumb, because the way that he gets there is not right, and his use of it is pretty silly. But if you imagine this story as, what if Robotnik had, you know, some control of the timeline, or if Robotnik was a trickster god, especially, because that's the impression I get here, is that he's trying to find ways of torturing Sonic with wish-altered realities.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that's the answer, is, you know, make it that Robotnik gets some kind of wishing stone or something.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good stuff here, but I would have tweaked a few things here or there.
Yeah.
Fair.
So Sonic attacks, but he is teleported to a stage play that is mocking him. And, you know, he's got Robotnik in a suit as his co-star, but then the audience is also made up entirely of Robotniks.
This is when it started getting, like, really, for me at least, really trippy and not hard to follow, but, like, I had to really focus on what was going on.
We do a lot of silly alternate timelines in quick succession.
Yeah. Like, I really had to make sure I was paying attention.
It doesn't last very long.
It doesn't.
It's just for a page or two. Robotnik is like, well, wait a minute, I can do anything. Well, what if I start parodying, like, all these pieces of media?
Peter Pan, Roadrunner.
Okay, fine.
Apparently, like, all Sonic media likes to do.
Yep. But then after that, he realizes, nah, that's just not me, I guess. He does ask Sonic to surrender, which pretty much confirms that, yeah, his primary goal is to break Sonic, and he's doing a miserable job so far.
Yeah, it's like, why... Part of it is, like, we're getting all these wish-altered realities. I keep calling them wish-altered, even though there's no wishing thing, but Sonic still has some position of power in most of them. I do like the one where they're just fish and Robotnik's going to eat him. That's probably the closest it comes.
Yeah.
But even in the one where Robotnik is Dracula, Sonic still gets to be a vampire hunter with a cross to defend himself, so... I do appreciate that Tails' gravestone is in that one, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even see that. Wow.
But yeah, what this represents is not super effective. It's I don't know, but I do like that Sonic recognizes all this. He's like, it's all kind of pointless to do this, man, because I always win, and I've beaten tons of villains in the
Yeah,
past.
he's completely right. It's like it's
And
kind of
Robotnik's like,
pointless.
villains of the past, you say? Which transitions into Showdown, which is somehow a different story, even though it's literally just more of the same.
Yeah, picks up
Yeah.
directly.
I guess it's because it's got different credits, because Kitching and Stringer and Elson and Dobbin all worked on this one together. Kind of, I guess, they're doing the end game thing again.
Yeah,
A little bit, yeah.
basically.
This might have been in a milestone issue, but I don't remember, because how do you check, numbers on the compiled issues? But yeah, Sonic fights back against Robotnik's reality-altering power is the description, not anything crazy.
Right.
But hi, it's Metallix. He's attacking.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, now we got some cool shit. Or some
He's got green on him.
The green, I'm not a big fan of the green on him, I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, I like when he has eyes that can emote. So,
Yeah.
but it's Metallix. He shoots his chest laser. Sonic attacks back and forth. We're doing a lot of that. And he punches Sonic into Megatox. Hi, Megatox.
Like, okay.
Like Robotnik did say, old villains.
Yeah, I suppose so.
They make some weird choices, though, because Megatox would not have been at the top of my list, and neither,
Not
especially,
really,
would be Plasma.
Megatox at least showed up again, but this guy,
Yeah.
I would have forgotten about him.
He was around once, and Sonic beat him by Amy beating the other guy.
That really should have come up here. Sonic should have tried to attack Plasma, and it wouldn't have worked because it's actually the dude controlling him. But they don't actually even mention that bit of him because Robotnik is just having too much fun. He's like, all right, time to bring in the big guns. Let's go Brutus.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
I am always up for Brutus.
Yeah.
And I do like that Brutus shows up, and he's really excited to be back. And he says, I'm programmed with the brain patterns of Dr. Robotnik himself. And Sonic says, well, nobody's perfect. And, it's like, I'm happy to see, some of these previous villains, mostly the robots. But I think the most devious thing, because none of that phases Sonic, but one thing does, which is that Robotnik brings Tails back to life.
Okay, yeah, but it's after he has this great moment when he's like, 6 against 1. That's pretty uneven odds, isn't it? Okay, here, I'll give you Tails, but then Tails just attacks him.
Tails beats the shit out of him.
It wasn't unfair enough.
Yeah. Well, and then I don't know if this is clever or annoying, because they undercut it, because it's like, I thought that this was going to be, a mind fuck being used to emotionally wound Sonic, and that's a good idea. And I guess it is still that, but it's also that it's just metamorphia.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, they do that, but then it still gets the point across, so I don't know.
Sure, but it's a little...
I guess it wouldn't be the real Tails either way, because, I don't know. But, unfortunately, it's like, I don't even know if I can say this is bad, because it's kind of clever. I can at least see the logic of it, which is that Sonic uses one villain to beat the others by knocking Brutus into Plasma. And, he's made out of metal, so that's, he can electroshock people.
Sure.
Okay, but then it defeats all of them. So you're telling me that Plasma, the one random villain nobody cares about, even Sonic forgot about it? Well, he didn't forget about him, but he commented about how random of a pick that was. They can just defeat all of these people, apparently.
Well, so my impression is that Brutus breaks into pieces when Sonic hits him, so I was assuming that each piece was hitting somebody individually to electrocute them.
No,
that's kind of what I got
say
also.
That the impact with Brutus disrupted Plasma and you create a chain reaction. You can see clearly that Plasma is shooting everyone here as they
Yeah, I guess they are all connected to his body.
I must say, whenever you do this, it's inevitably going to be disappointing, especially in these comics that are always kind of compressed. But they really just did nothing with these characters. even if they had a bit, I mean, Metallics doesn't really have much of a personality, neither does Megatox or Plasma. But okay, I mean, just a hint that Brutus was like not happy with the situation.
That would have been nice.
Something about how Metamorphia, was like, huh, this doesn't. I'm really happy with this for some reason. We like referencing the fact that they weren't, or something like that. But no, they're just here for a second, just for a bit of fan service. They don't really do anything.
They might as well just be mindless drones being here.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of whenever Dragon Ball does, like either Fusion Reborn or Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans or GT. They have 3 different points, probably more actually, where they bring back a bunch of dead villains and have them fight the heroes. And then they just never have any significant character interactions. Like, they never comment on it. Like in GT, they have Vegeta kill Nappa in the same way he did in the Saiyan arc, and it's like, oh, if you bring back Nappa, having him, even just comment on the fact that, like, wow, Vegeta, you seem really different, or something. He doesn't do that. He doesn't even talk. It's like, why did you bother then?
Yeah, they could have just been anything. Like, the fact that it's these characters doesn't matter.
It's empty fan service, unfortunately. So, shame about that one, even if I was happy to see some of my old friends again.
Yeah.
But Robotnik decides, fine, fuck that. I'll send you to the special zone, the true hell.
God.
It's true.
It is.
Vector's a janitor.
You probably would do better at that job, honestly.
Yep.
Ooh. God.
So, yeah, no chaotics here, only Sidewinder gang.
Yeah, so wait a second. In the main continuity, Robotnik was like, I want to conquer the special zone, but like, there's too much madness going on in there. You're telling me that here he didn't just conquer the special zone? Like, he's okay with Sidewinder being in charge here, apparently.
Oh, I got the impression that Sidewinder was working for Robotnik.
Maybe.
I mean, that may not be true.
There's no direct hint of that.
He says Sidewinder is the ruler of the special zone, and he doesn't appear to be upset about that. I would have to imagine that Robotnik still has the ultimate final say.
Sure.
And it's also funny, because as far as we know, these 2 characters have never met.
That's a good point.
But, Sonic, he has to get up and fight, but he can't, actually. Mr. Fry and, what is this? Biohazard, that's that guy. They actually are too much for him, because Robotnik deleted Sonic's speed powers. Oh no.
Yep, he's starting to cheat, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Which, maybe should that turn him brown again? I don't know.
Who knows?
But Sonic does survive, but he only survives because Sidewinder whispers to Lightmare that he's planning on stealing Eggman's power to rule the universe.
What a genius. Let's whisper in front of the omniscient god.
This is so in character. This guy thought that he could control Supersonic with the power of his mind. So, of course, he would be, like, plotting against this version of Robotnik.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
If Sidewinder and Lightmare were, like, actually psychic, the idea of them, like, communicating non-verbally, that would be something. And you even got the father-daughter connection there. But no, he just says it out loud.
Just whispers it. Robotnik's like, hold on a goddamn second.
And if they were psychic, then it would at least make somewhat sense that they would think that Robotnik couldn't hear them, but then, oh no, he's godlike, he can.
No, Sidewinder's just an idiot.
He is an idiot. He is a dumbass.
He is an idiot, yeah.
So Eggman hears this, and he gets angry, and turns them all to stone. Biohazard and Fry didn't do anything wrong.
True. I mean, I guess they were working for him.
Well, Robotnik and collateral damage. So fine, I can't use these guys to get rid of Sonic, so let's try something else again. I'll send you to Angel Island. Wait, that's where we were at the start.
That's not strictly accurate. It's not Robotnik that just arbitrarily chooses this. This is actually a good Sonic moment, because Sonic here taunts Robotnik just a little bit. He is like, wow, even with godlike powers, you're still afraid of me, aren't you? You had to take away my powers because you think I might do something to you. And still, at least Knuckles won't see me get defeated by you when I'm like this. And then Robotnik is like,
Well, in that
Wow,
case,
I'm not afraid of you. No, I'll give you back your powers, and Knuckles will see you get destroyed by me.
Okay, you're right. He more manipulates it out of Robotnik.
Yeah.
He's crafty. So we do, in fact, go to Angel Island, and Knuckles is here, and he's Robotnik's most devoted servant. I basically saw that coming, honestly.
Yeah, that's not particularly surprising.
I mean, you just tricked Knuckles in this timeline, and Knuckles just
and it's stuck.
never saw any reason not to trust him, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe he stayed out of the Emerald Chamber, even though the Emerald Chamber is what gave him this... Whatever. Time travel's bullshit. So, Knuckles beats up Sonic some more. Sonic is getting beat up a lot today. Which, I mean, fitting, but, But Sonic, he's not having any of this. He's kind of tired of it, and he continues the thing that Lauren was talking about before, trying to manipulate Robotnik a bit, and he says, man, how about a challenge? And he says, well, yeah, Robotnik is going to agree to this, and, he says, with Knuckles' help and a little bit of time, I can easily beat you.
Okay, so, with Robotnik in this state, you can give Sonic basically any advantage, and Robotnik is safe. However, this is one place where Robotnik should not let Sonic do his own thing for a little bit of time. It is so obvious what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, of course, but I guess
Does
that's
he
the
just
thing.
not know?
Robotnik is so full of himself, I think. That...
That's part of it. I think he's really caught up in the moment right now.
Yeah.
I think Sonic has really gotten under his skin, and he's like, oh, I'll show you. Because it seems like, at least the way I interpret it, that Robotnik is so riled at this point that I think if Sonic doesn't pull off what he's trying to do, Robotnik's just going to kill him.
It's like, we're emotionally torturing Sonic for this story, but Robotnik is the one having a breakdown because Sonic's not being tortured hard enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic's just taking it.
Extremely high voltage. I don't need safety gloves because I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, so bad decision on Robotnik's part, because he decides to call Sonic's bluff. He gives Knuckles his memories back and decides to count to 100 to give Sonic a head start. Ready or not, here I come. Hide and seek? We're doing hide and seek? But yes, in this 100 seconds, Sonic and Knuckles run inside and get to work on the Emerald Absorption Machine.
What a surprise.
So, I don't know why this didn't work before, is the thing. Was it not plugged in?
Well, so they used the Master Emerald before. They didn't use this machine.
I guess, yeah, so...
True, yeah.
I think of so many Chaos things as just completely interchangeable, so I didn't even realize they were different devices.
Fair enough.
Well, the funny thing is, there are actually so many ways that Robotnik could get defeated here, but apparently some of them don't work. The Master Emerald didn't work for reasons I do not understand. The machine here doesn't work for a somewhat reasonable reason, which is that they just don't know how to use it. And Robotnik's like, psh, that's the best you got? Fine. Boom. Get wrecked. Now I'm going to kill you. But there is a third thing that could also stop Robotnik here, which is something I kind of forgot about, honestly, because this comic invented it. The Gray Emerald is what finally takes this guy down.
Yes, calling all the way back to the very first Sonic 3 adaptation. The Gray Emerald is the Controller Emerald. And that didn't stop being a thing that was true, I guess, but...
Right.
It's funny because...
It's just a better Master Emerald, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, what does the Master Emerald do if it's not the fucking controller?
I guess so, yeah.
The controller is the one that unifies the chaos. That's part of Tikal's prayer.
Yeah, I don't get this. But it works, finally.
Yep, it's the same as the first time Robotnik took Emerald Power.
It is, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So Robotnik is having his power taken, and he, for some reason, I guess because his emerald body got shattered, but this makes him shrink more and more as his power is sucked away.
Yeah, Knuckles says, oh, well, I guess his body adjusted so much to the emerald powers that without it, it just disappears.
Oh, you think so, Knuckles?
Yeah.
Of course not.
Well, and Robotnik is not without a body. He is, in fact, literally shrunken.
That's kind of what I figured.
All right, Knack.
Uh-huh.
Better meet up with Robotnik.
Mm-hmm. I'm expecting that.
Something like that.
Let's throw in Slimy in there for good measure. Um, okay, that's pretty funny, actually. I did not interpret that as what happened here at all.
No, because it doesn't make any sense, really. But
No, it doesn't, but I, assume the weirdest when it comes to Sonic comics.
yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, this is the end of the story, basically. I mean,
Yeah,
Sonic
the world has
has a
returned to
joke
normal.
Yeah.
No one
about
remembers
Yeah.
Robotnik
how no
Supreme
one
at all.
remembers him being a hero. Yeah. Of course he would care about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I could see most
He's
versions of
cocky,
Sonic
it's
saying
Sonic.
something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did like definitely actually quite a bit of the story. The banter between Sonic and Robotnik is great. The stakes are to such an unbelievable level that I turn my brain off. I'm like, okay, there's no tension here.
Yeah,
You
that's
need
kind of the way
boundaries.
you gotta
You
do
need
it.
structure. Otherwise, you get the ending of Doctor Who season 14.
Yeah. I had a different idea about how to improve this. I actually do like your idea, though, about giving him a wishing stone or something, where he can kind of do the same thing and mess around with Sonic, but there's some clear limitation that somewhat excuses how he could get defeated in the end. I would have also liked if they had maybe toned it down just a little bit, but still had Robotnik mess around with Sonic for a while. And then I had this idea, okay, so you rewrote the timeline, right? Then maybe that would undo the fact that Super Sonic was divided from Sonic. And so when he pushes him so far, then he goes Super, and then there's a bit of a battle between Robotnik and Super Sonic.
Yeah, yeah. That'll let you
cool.
push the fan service more, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that can somehow play into the Knuckles Chaos Emerald shutdown thing, because Super Sonic is also Chaos Energy.
Right.
Yes, I was thinking that Knuckles would take them both down at the end.
That would be cool. That
Yeah.
that would also be a cool Knuckles save moment.
Yeah. But, it's easy to say things like that in hindsight. It was still fun most of the way, though.
Sure, yeah.
True.
I just wish that it wasn't, this is 43 pages of unbroken narrative, and I wish that it didn't end with the exact same method of defeating him as a story from 1994.
Yeah.
Mm.
You win some, you lose some. But we are not anywhere close to done for tonight, is the funny thing. So we'll see what we can do here in Shady Characters, Stringer and Elson. The Freedom Fighters set out to clear Robotnik's base from Flicky Island, but are sidetracked by a sudden betrayal. So, yeah, for right now, Robotnik is gone. We don't know what happened to him, really, but Sonic is not even entertaining the idea that he's actually dead.
Smart.
Yeah.
But we're also wasting no time. We want to get rid of the Flicky Island base. So, we got the whole gang here, except for Lewis, obviously, but he left the action, so that's fine.
Right.
So, Tails, Amy, Shorty, Techno, they all come along, but Johnny stays behind. Everybody else goes, and Johnny's like, I'm gonna stay home.
He also just has a teleport belt now.
He has a teleporting belt buckle. So, yeah, all those hints about him not being around much are gonna be addressed now, I think.
Yes.
He has a teleporting belt buckle, and I don't know if this is intentional, but there's a lot of symbols around him, crosses or perhaps X's.
I didn't even notice that. That's funny. I assume that's meant to be that, but
yeah.
But so we are making our way toward the island. Techno has a hover bike that I think she builds in a story we haven't read yet, but it ultimately doesn't matter that much. But it looks cool. She didn't even write in that. Actually, Techno kind of looks... I wish that Elson got to draw Techno more, because he definitely makes her look better than other artists.
Mm.
But the engines on the hover bike suddenly cut out, and Amy's crossbow isn't working, and now there's a horde of badniks that are clearly expecting them.
I want to know, why is Amy's crossbow not working?
Well, everything's been sabotaged somehow.
I guess it's just been sabotaged, yeah.
Wait, crossbows aren't electric. Whatever.
Well, it could depend on the crossbow. Amy's looks like it might actually be either a machine.
Sometimes it looks like it shoots lasers, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a machine or something like that, not purely mechanical.
Yep. The badniks shoot down short fuse, and the tornado is... It's funny, the plane starts crashing, but we don't see anything hit the plane. It just starts crashing for no reason.
Right.
Which I guess already happens a lot in the Sonic series.
Fair enough, yeah.
So yeah, we're This is also kind of the start of Sonic Frontiers that I'm thinking about it. In that
Yeah,
everybody
kind
gets
of.
blown out of the sky, and then Sonic wakes up. And yeah, we wake up, and Sonic is in a thing. Kind of looks like the restraints from that one scene in The Incredibles.
It does,
Sort
yeah.
of, yeah.
But everybody else is caged up, and Agent X is here. He's the one who orchestrated all this.
He is.
He pulls back his robe to reveal Johnny. Agent X is Johnny?
What?
If you'd given me 1,000 years to guess who he would quote unquote be, despite how sus Johnny's been acting, I would not have guessed him.
Well, so for a long time, as early as I think that Amy and Techno story, which was way before this, they were saying, "Oh, Johnny hasn't been around recently," and we mentioned that
Right.
he hasn't technically been in a lot of stories. But for this to be the explanation, because we only had Agent X introduced like he was only in like 2 stories before this.
Oh yeah, no, the
Yeah.
explanation is weird as hell.
Well, it's pretty obvious that they came up with the explanation later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, I've been a traitor working for Robotnik the whole time." That doesn't sound true.
No.
Oh.
But yeah, he's bad for now, and he activates
reason.
the thing Sonic is in, and quote unquote vaporizes him.
Sure thing, bud. Whatever you say.
Yeah. Obviously, it doesn't actually do that. It just teleports him, which
Of
even
course,
Techno
it-
realizes really quickly.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, why is he putting Sonic in a vaporizer if it's actually a teleporter? What is Johnny playing at here? Was the thing that I wrote in my notes. And the answer is nothing, because that ain't Johnny.
Right.
We find out very quickly, and I might add, Techno's scanner before said that really was Johnny, and now we learned that Techno's scanner is a lying piece of shit, because,
Oh, that's where that comment comes from. Yeah. Okay, so the fact that this is an evil Johnny, they do like nothing with this. Like we jumped from Agent X is Johnny to Johnny isn't Johnny so fast. Why? Why did they do this? They should have done a different thing with this. This is a bizarre way to do this.
It is really freaking weird.
it's a fake out to the audience, and I mean, I am noticing that Sonic getting teleported away, that's the end of a part. If this is all just to have dramatic cliffhangers, maybe. But
oh yeah, they love those.
But they should have held back, because what they should have done is they should have had fake Johnny, teleport Sonic away, and then Sonic gets to this cave, and they're going to be attacked by shadow monsters, so there's going to be action, and then Sonic should have found real Johnny later.
Yeah, that would have been better. But Johnny shows up before the shadows.
Yeah, give Johnny X a chance to, like, torment the other heroes or something,
Sure.
But, yeah. Real Johnny is here, looking... his jacket is slightly ripped. That's the worst thing about him. And he says, "Yeah, months ago, I was switched with this other guy named Shade with a Y. We're not doing Sonic Chronicles. And, yeah, he's some kind of shadow alien from the Shadow Zone, the Shadow Dimension. But,
the Shadow Realm is what they call it.
Damn it, I knew I was screwing something up. I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh?
Well,
Yogi Bear?
Yo-Yo, eh? Good old Yo-Yo.
But yeah,
that would have been more interesting than no explanation at all. They just exist.
Yeah.
So yeah, he stole Johnny's appearance and is a shadow monster. So he's basically Mephiles without the time travel.
I was gonna say he's anti-Mobius Antoine.
Yeah, in terms of replacing him, yeah.
Yeah.
That again would have been more interesting.
I mean, fair enough, yeah.
Well, I don't know, because, I mean, like, Patch basically just existed as Antoine for, like, months and then tried to poison people, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, true.
It's true that Patch was boring, but then they did something interesting with him later, at least. But he wasn't really that involved. But this guy's the center of the story. I would expect them to do something with him.
Yeah, Shade Hero basically gave away the game in the same story that his existence is even known, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a bunch of other shadow monsters here, and they want to use that same machine to switch places with Sonic now. And everyone they can, I suppose. So I guess that makes it kind of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as it happens, doesn't last long, because, I mean, Shade is going on this monologue about how cool he is at Agent Xing. That's a verb now. But then Short Fuse just breaks out of the cage, because he's Short Fuse.
Pretty much, yeah.
And Sonic is getting chased around by shadow monsters. You can't touch them, though, because if you touch them, that's how you get copied. But, very, very conveniently, one of the shadow monsters is a dumb nerd.
Yeah,
What?
that's kind of weird.
Why is this one wearing glasses? It just communicates that he's a dumb nerd who shouldn't be included. Because this is the one that extremely conveniently reveals that they're all tied to the power of this black emerald in the next room.
Convenient.
Hey, Chaos should be in there.
The black.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. Are they going to explain where this thing comes from way later? I hope so.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder with that one.
That would again make these people more interesting, but I think it is just a black emerald and not tied to the Chaos Emeralds at all.
I don't think it is.
At the last second, someone does manage to grab Sonic, and then oh ho ho! Look, it's a Sonic versus Sonic fight, but Sonic is like, no.
No, we don't have time for that.
It's really funny, yeah. If one of them touches Sonic and it becomes evil purple Sonic, he's a slightly different color.
Yeah.
Is he a little taller?
More timeline shit. He's the one that the Dracon wanted.
It's gotta be it.
But yeah, we completely no-sell it. It almost feels like a joke how much this doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, the Shadow World starts collapsing. It's like dissolving. It's gonna take Sonic and Johnny with them. Oh no, but actually, no, they're fine.
Yeah.
Techno reversed the thingy.
Right.
But good on you, Techno. Techno's best girl. So Shade decides, well, fuck it, I can just shoot you now. But he misses because he's, I guess, not good dealing with pressure. And then Johnny touches him, which reverts him to a shadow, and then he goes into a hole?
He's just sent back to his dimension.
Yeah, he's sent back to his dimension.
I thought that dimension
Shadow Realm
dissolved, but I guess...
he went back to a non-existent dimension then.
Go back to where you came from. Go back to nothing. Yeah. Well, bye, asshole. And then arbitrarily, we activate the end of a Metroid game where the teleporter starts overheating and you have a countdown before it explodes. And, yeah, that's it. They get out and they're fine. That's the end. You know, it's funny. We've talked before how Johnny is the least developed of the quote-unquote main cast. And that's still true! We did this whole plotline, and it's still true.
To be fair, we have somewhat of a reasoning for that now, because we haven't seen Johnny for a while. Actually seen Johnny for a while.
I know, I just mean that this does nothing with his character.
Yeah. No, it does nothing with his character. There's no real purpose in his character still.
Even,
yeah.
Because even with the Oscar the Pig stuff from last time, it's weird and unfitting and didn't make a ton of sense, but it was at least something that you could understand.
Sure.
You know, maybe you could tie that into the fact that he doesn't like being involved with conflicts, because he was before and it led to bad shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that Porker already actually had character.
That too.
Really.
Yeah.
Johnny is just a nice dude. It's, But, let's move on to a Stringer and Corona story called Game On. Someone plays a video game about somebody else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sonic is fighting a Badnik, and then he wins. It's a bat brain, and he destroys it, and then it says game over. That's the end of the story. Everybody pack it up.
All right.
It's funny, actually, because he's fighting it first, and it defeats him, and then there's a completely black frame. And then he's fighting it again. And then it says game over. I like that they couldn't think of a better way to display, like, rewinding time.
I was expecting, like...
They had an extra life, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was expecting this to be like a Groundhog Day.
Extra life.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's weird. And then, of course, we zoom out of it because it was actually a kid who was playing this Sonic video game. It's like Sonic Live.
Oh, no.
And in both cases, it's not how the games work. You beat a Sonic game by killing one enemy? I don't think so.
Also, do Sonic games say game over when you win? That doesn't sound right.
No, they don't.
I don't think any game does.
Some games do,
like
especially arcade games.
Well, arcade games are like...
They're not real. They fake. They don't exist.
Yeah, they don't exist.
They were part of Robotnik's altered timeline. They're not in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Ignoring the arcade game we played for this podcast.
The two of them, yeah.
Two, excuse me. I forgot there were two of them.
Anyway, this kid's friends tell him, video games are stupid. We gotta go outside to the park.
Ah, yes. This is stupid. Let's just go outside and exist.
Yeah, and anyway, we're gonna go there, and it's like we get another. It's funny because I get a, oh right, this is British moment when they walk by the red telephone box.
Oh yeah,
but it's okay. We get attacked by actual badniks along the way. What?
yeah. Didn't you know badniks exist?
Yeah, we gotta have these human kids fight robots.
Let's go.
They kick a soccer ball at it. Isn't that the most powerful attack?
Really?
It's a ball. Balls are the strongest form.
Now, just as you're questioning yourself, you're asking, how could these badniks have gone from a video game to real life? The answer is that there is no answer, because it's actually game over again.
A game inside of a game. Ooh.
This is revealed to be a game made by Techno, based off of the humans that she met on Earth, and then they speculate the idea of a Sonic game existing on Earth.
Wait, but Techno never saw, soccer. How do they know about soccer?
I'm pretty sure soccer exists on Mobius.
That raises more questions. Why is there soccer on both planets?
Soccer is like John Cusack. It's a universal constant.
I see.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the story. It says, if Sonic video games were real, they'd be great.
Uh-huh.
And as someone who lives in a universe where Sonic games are real, I gotta say, sometimes...
And always.
Yeah.
So that's whatever that is. Let's move along here to Suntrap, Stringer and Corona and Dobbin. I don't remember who did what. Max Gamble scams people into vacation getaways to Flicky's Island, still full of Robotnik's defenses. Sonic and Tails have to deal with this garbage.
The motherfucker is selling timeshares. True scum of the earth. They're not literally timeshares.
Surprising nobody, selling timeshares on Flicky's Island is a horrible idea because it's still full of badniks. They didn't get a chance to clear it out last time. I like to imagine that, maybe Sonic sent a message out that's like, oh, Flicky's Island will soon be cleared, and then they got caught up in all the Agent X stuff, and maybe they did correct it, but Gamble had already made these plans. He's just like, fuck it, I'll do it anyway.
That is the perfect voice for Max.
For real.
Yeah, these people are... I don't know how he's not, universally known as completely predatory at this point. Because people are still happy to give him their money. Actually, you know what? In real life, people are still buying Cybertrucks, so I guess it's like that. So, yes, they do indeed go to Flicky's Island. And yes, surprising nobody, it's still full of death traps, like this gorilla badnik that doesn't look anything like a normal badnik.
It's just a gorilla.
If you didn't have the red glowy eyes, I'm not sure you would even know it was a robot.
I mean, probably not.
He's also purple, which brings to mind that bully guy Monk from the Knuckles comics.
I knew this guy reminded me of something. I was like, this reminds me a lot of something else from a comic, but I can't remember what.
It's the return of Grape Ape.
I was just thinking Bonzi Buddy.
Anywho, yeah, Sonic and Tails have to make their way there, and they have to fight robots, explain the Gamble's a scammer. It's pretty all of his plots have gotten very formulaic at this point.
Yeah.
It's funny because apparently Techno's put together a database of old villains to keep track of what they're doing, but why go through all that work instead of just throwing him in jail or something? Gosh darn it.
He even asked to be thrown in jail last time we saw him.
Yeah, why is he not still there?
Did he ever go?
Did he say hi to Grimer on his way in or out? We have to make clear that he is there, otherwise that other story becomes really stupid and just instead of just kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's pits, there's guns, there's hammers, there's a whole bunch of other crap, there's turrets. So Sonic gathers all the stuff he can find into one place, and the victims are safe. We're gonna take him home. Gamble's like, this fraud was entirely legitimate, and then Sonic steals all his money and gives it back to the people.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. He's like, too bad.
Well, I don't understand this so much, you know. I think that part of this is that we're like not squaring away that this is kind of a children's comic. I mean, it is. But it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like for most villains, at the very least, if they don't go to jail at the end of the story or they don't get away, they at least don't show up for a while. Like, I haven't seen Wendy Wallace a lot between her two appearances, and I don't have that same problem with her.
Yeah, that's true. Gamble just
Yeah.
seems to keep doing his thing as
he
soon
just-
as Sonic leaves.
Yeah.
He shows up a lot is part of it. So I don't know. But yeah, the final panel is just he sits on the sidewalk and looks sad. There's still money on the floor you could pick up.
Mm.
But whatever. Let's move along here to Football Lazy, Stringer and Dobbin. Sonic has his powers stolen for a football match, soccer match, whatever you want to call it, British. So we've got a soccer team, and we've got a team manager who says, my guys suck. They're not going to be able to win the World Cup. Hey, Sonic, you're fast. Can you help us cheat? But Sonic's like, no, that's stupid. And Sonic does say, you know, that wouldn't be fair to the other team. And the guy's like, all right, well, I'll shoot you with my copy your powers gun.
What?
Is it fucking Mega Man?
Well, I'm just
Or maybe
like,
that-
how does this dude
That
get
thing from
something
Superstar?
like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody is a mad
yeah.
scientist now, as Sonic said last time.
A mad
Yeah.
scientist with a lot of resources too, because he throws Sonic in a prison cell. He's like, "Oh, don't try escaping because it's made of Megatel." Wait, what?
Where did you
How-
get
That's
that?
supposed to be really rare.
Yeah.
Did we melt down Brutus?
I guess.
Oh gosh.
It would be one thing if, like, this guy worked for the cult of Robotnik. Like, maybe he's got connections and this is just his day job. But he's like, hey, I can use this to make things better. But he's not. He's completely unaffiliated.
Yeah.
Actually, this probably should have been that. But yeah, so he disseminates Sonic's powers among the rest of the team so they get fast and cool. But the game is a total mess because they have no idea how to use Sonic's speed.
Of course.
One dude spins out, another accidentally runs to Antarctica, or Mobius Antarctica, whatever that is, and then Sonic drills up through the ground because apparently the floor of that cell wasn't made of Megatel.
It was just on dirt,
Good job.
apparently.
So he is justifiably pissed off, and he spins the manager around until he gets arrested. This guy gets arrested, see?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's because he's messing with sports, and there's a lot of money at stake in sports.
That's true. That's why FIFA executives always get arrested. Oh, wait.
Yeah, but this guy is just a random Joe. He
Yeah, fair enough.
I
yeah.
guess that really is the answer to all of the gamble stuff, is just he has that much money.
I guess so.
So, yeah, that's that story. Move along to, oh my god, it's Hypersonic! Hypersonic! No, it's not gonna be.
That name is
No.
such a fucking tease.
Stringer and McMahon, Sonic goes too fast.
Yep.
It's not the Super Emeralds. But in
No.
fact, Sonic is indeed fighting the cult of Robotnik. We're doing that again. And they are... Well, actually, they have a pretty good plan here, which is that they're launching missiles at Hilltop and Metropolis simultaneously.
Yeah.
It would be a good plan, except this is Sonic we're dealing with. And they should know that you do not challenge Sonic to move fast, because he's just going to move faster.
Yes, indeed. I was thinking of the One Adventures of Sonic episode where there's the 3 bombs.
Oh, yeah, it is just like that. I was thinking of the one Sonic comic in Sonic the Comic where Robotnik had like an orbital laser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you are right that it's like it is pretty tough to challenge Sonic to a speed challenge because indeed, well, he goes for Hilltop first and uses Tornado Winds to divert the first missile into space. Hope it doesn't hit anybody we care about, assuming they are in space. You know, it's like, oh no, it hit Planet Comdarn.
They would just neutralize it with their good vibes.
It just disassembles. And also they might be in
Yeah.
a different dimension, we're not sure.
Right.
So Sonic goes for Metropolis next, and he does the speed cocoon thing to contain the blast. That was Super Sonic before, who was doing it because he was invulnerable. How's normal Sonic doing that?
Yeah, this should not work at all.
Yeah, Sonic should
Yeah.
be dead. But, you know, in terms of things not making sense, that's hardly unique, because now time is frozen for some reason.
Wow.
or massively slowed down, I guess, because Sonic moved so fast that now he's like permanently moving so fast he can't slow down. Anyway, he falls asleep for a while and now he's back to normal and the story's over.
Yeah, I would like to point out that apparently he he bores himself by looking at a boring website, but like it would take a really long time for the website to load, which I guess maybe is part of what was boring. It doesn't seem the most straightforward thing. I know this will not come up again, but still, you can't just say that Sonic can run super fast and suddenly slow down time for himself. Like, maybe he's just too scared that he might get stuck for good in that time state next time.
Yeah, I don't... This is dumb. I don't know. Let's move along to something that's slightly plot relevant, at least. This is back in the Special Zone, Kitching and Elson. Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Sonic encounters some strange foes on a return trip to the Special Zone. And, okay, well, I was about to say we start right in the action. We start in an old couple's house, but it's interrupted by the action that we start right in the middle of. Sonic is being chased by a mustache riding a dinosaur.
By a mustache riding dinosaur.
He ruins this old couple's house, and yeah, this is Blockhead Bill and his dinosaur Society Max.
What kind of name is that?
I have no idea what either of these names are. So, yeah, very weird thing going on. And why are they attacking Sonic? Who knows? But don't worry, the Chaotix are here, or maybe you should worry. I guess.
Worried.
Yeah, you probably should.
They are familiar with these guys, and yeah, as predicted, they fight, but they kind of suck.
Uh-huh.
But don't worry, Sonic intervenes by shouting at Dinosaur, and then he lifts his head and smashes it on the underside of the thing Sonic's standing on.
Yeah.
Which I guess smashes Bill here too, and Bill's like, that sucks. I need my son's help. Mighty, get over here. And
Excuse me?
yes, Blockhead Bill is Mighty's dad.
Kind of dropped that out of nowhere.
What? I mean, I guess he's kind of an armadillo. I didn't even realize when I first saw him.
Your comment of him being a walking mustache is pretty accurate.
I guess Mighty's dad is just hard. I'm gonna say hard to deal with, which is a nice way of saying has an untreated mental illness. I don't know.
Yeah,
That was my guess, because after this, he just starts talking nonsense, basically.
more or less.
He thinks that Sonic is red until he's told to look a little closer. And what else? I don't know. It's really hard to follow, but because it's just so nonsensical. But like his dinosaur is actually just like a dude. So I have to assume this is like a Mama Robotnik situation reverted, and Daddy Armadillo, Daddy Mighty, I don't know, broke out of the old person's home and
Yeah.
wreaking havoc.
Something like that. His eyesight must be really bad to think that Sonic is someone called the Crimson Cobra. And yeah, Society Max here is not normally a rampaging monster. He is normally Bill's business partner. I have no idea what business they can possibly be doing.
I am kind of curious, though.
Yeah. Well, actually, he says you must do something about the taste of that infernal root. Perhaps a little salad dressing would be ordered. So is he just a really bad experimental chef? I don't know. Gotta get Sid in here to judge this. Yeah, Sonic doesn't know what the hell to make of all this. And we're not going to learn, because Vector's like, I called you here for a reason. And then we don't get to know the reason until next week. Good night, everybody. That's it.
Good night.
It's okay. I'm in no hurry to see what the Chaotix is up to, honestly.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, this whole story is just a setup for something else, and it is extremely confusing, but, you know, it's the first Sonic material to ever give Mighty the Armadillo a family member.
Automatically.
Wow, that's an interesting distinction.
Fascinating at best.
I don't know. This week was mostly front-loaded with all of the stuff we care about, and then just kind of dragged its feet for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Which, to be clear, I do enjoy the Robotnik godlike, even if it was a little over the top. There was plenty of good material in there, and we finally learned what was up with Johnny and Agent X, even if it was not the most satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's always something. But on next time on Deep Dive Zone, we'll learn some things. We'll see how Grimer's doing in prison. We'll do some tale stories. We'll learn what Sonic is brought to the Special Zone for. It's going to be weird, I promise.
Good.
All right.
But with all that said, that is where we are done for tonight. Thank you to my co-hosts for being here. Thank you to all of our audience for watching. If you have any questions, comments, criticisms, suggestions, or feedback, you can find us in the link tree in the description. And if you like this video, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And take care.